Hi everyone. So today Spellbinders has launched their new collections for April. I'm not talking about their club kits because that launched on the 1st. And then if you want to sign up brand new, around the 5th or 6th, you can sign up. But I'm talking about their collections for the month, like all these fun things. Yana has some new things out. Simon Hurley. I'm going to start off with this one, the Jump for Joy bundle. They do have it as a bundle, just like what I'm showing you right now. Obviously, these are samples. So, yes, Spellbinders did send these free of charge from my review. Of course, all opinions are my own. And I'll have links in the description box for the US and the UK. And those would be affiliate links, which means I'll make a small commission if you purchase items to those links. I super appreciate the support. Again, it doesn't change the price, and it's the same price as if you had logged in. You just use my link. It'll pop you over. If you are a club member, you still have your 10% off reflected in the pricing and all that good stuff. It's just, so it's just a nice way to support your favorite channels and, people that you follow and stuff. So, like I said, there are several new collections out. This one is piecemeal. You can pick up just like the stencil. You can pick up just like the stamps. The main die set, of course, these stamps make sense if you have the die set here or from other nature ones, right? Because some of the stuff that's on here, we'll talk about that in a minute. But it's basically called Jump for Joy because you have this little froggy and, he has little flowers with him, little toad or stool or mushroom, however you want to call it. So super cute. And I thought I'd start with this one because you can pick up a bundle. I know a lot of times the bundles sell out really quickly. I did notice, because if you are a member, you can start shopping these things on the 1st or so, that Yana has some bundles that are like her stencil and, embossing folder type bundles. And those are already sold out. I think they were stencil and better press plate this time around because she has a Happy Daisy collection. But I will follow up with tutorials on those things. The Simon Hurley collections. The Field Notes collection, super cute. I'm trying to think. Oh, Jack of All Trades is a Joker that came out this month. That's really cool to go along with that collection that came out a couple months ago. But anyway, so you have your little frog. Again, I try to put these pieces together in a way that makes sense. So these are the flower pieces. The flower centers as a little background. You have like leaves and cute things. This is the little mushroom here. You have the base and you have like a little decorative piece. How mushrooms look. And then you have the base of the little cap there. And then again, you can do inlays and just a background piece on that guy. And our little frog, he has a little tummy that's going to be a different color, little hands or arms. His head, he has a little crown if you want to pop that on there. And there's accent pieces for all these different items. I think these are his little eyeballs and then like accents for that, stuff like that. And then just like to cut a little landscape kind of area or maybe clouds or however you want to use this, you have this piece here. The stamp set has, clouds and cute little different... Oh, here we go. I was going to say, maybe they have some thing we can look at here. So this is kind of interesting because that's not supposed to be just like that. That doesn't make any sense. It should have a flower or something on there, but, I don't know what happened there, but there you go. So it shows you here a little bit of how you might want to use this and build up your little scene. But these are the sentiments. So you are totally amazing, like toad, punniness there. Hope your day is pure magic. Make a wish. Jump for joy. Hopping by to say hello. You have little round ones. It's very cute. They can go over like his little head or maybe on the toadstool. However, thanks so much. You make me smile. Enjoy your new pad. Birthday. Happy birthday. Take a leap of faith. You have little hearts that can just be just cute and a cute little cattail kind of background. I remember growing up, there was a canal behind their house. The Frank Kern Canal, if you're familiar with California. And there was like a little offshoot of some water that would come out this other side area. I would always walk around there. And I grew up around a lot of orange groves and stuff like that. And there would be bullfrogs out there. And then the cattails, which are really cool. They look so pretty. And then they start like opening up and they look bad, right? The little, whatever this is, starts kind of going everywhere. But they look so cool. And then they're really like firm, if you try to squeeze them. So it's pretty cool kind of plant. Anyhow, so there's a stencil set. So like I said, you can pick up the whole bundle, really cute. So you have everything, but then we have the stencil separately. So you have your little cattails. You have like kind of like a lily pad flower there, a lily pad down here, and then some little like ripples in the water. So there's going to be a few different things you're going to want to color on these. And then this one has mostly greenery, right? If you look at it, greenery, and then the very top of the little cattail. So that can also just be green. So this one, we're going to not mask off, but just be careful because, I don't hardly ever do masking. But we will do that today. So let me grab a card base, some cardstock. We'll get started, and I think we'll start off with our background, and then we'll get to this little guy, and I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I think to cut this out, I'm going to use one of these pretty dies. I think this is from the Happy Hour collection, if I'm not mistaken, but I'll link that too. And I'm going to use this second to the largest frame here, or matte layer. So that's going to be smaller than 4 1/4 by 5.5. But we can start off with a 4 1/4 by 5.5 piece of cardstock, and then I'll use that to trim it down. So I'm going to make card base 11 by 4 1/4. That means I score it at 5.5. And then I'm going to trim down, score it, don't cut it, at 5.5. I always just butt it up against these edges, and then maybe even over here to keep it nice and straight. And then this guy, I'm just going to cut a piece of heavyweight cardstock, 5.5 by 4 1/4. Again, I'll trim it down with that die. All right, let's put these papers somewhere. I don't know that I'll need something like this, but I'm going to use it anyway. Just a little mat, just in case this gets a little out there, but you know, everything's kind of contained here. It does say number 1 and then number 2. Really cute to use some glittery kind of stuff, all that, you know, good stuff. I guess I'll put the whole thing down. On the very corners, yeah, the corners do map out 4 1/4 by 5.5 for you. I guess I can cut a new piece of washi. You know, I like to conserve as much as I can. Okay, so I have not grabbed any inks yet. I'll be right back. So I need something kind of pinkish. I think that would be lovely. Some green. We're gonna have green on the next one, so maybe a lighter green. Maybe some blue or something for the water area, and then some brown for the cattails. So I'll be right back. Okay, got lots of colors here, but let's... a little pink. Just starting the center, so it's a little deeper there, and then just kind of going out to the edges. And you can take a little peek. That's pretty. A little more, okay. And then we're working top down, maybe a little brown for the cattails. Well, that's a good brown for them. A lot of times they're really, really dark brown, but I like this color. I'm gonna do a little more. Okay. And then a little bit of green, and I have this huge green guy, so I'm going to try to do that a little bit carefully. And I'm just going to do a light green, and then the bottom one can be a darker green when we go in to do that part. So again, I like to focus in the very center, and then kind of out towards the edges. And I'll keep this green out. Just a little bit of blue. This is kind of like a teal blue. Nope. It could be glittery, that'd be really cute. Okay. It's pretty already. And this next one, I mean, if you want to make the top of the cattails like a darker brown or something, that's up to you. But basically, I'm just going to go with a darker green, and that's fine. And you just kind of, again, you can use the little etched corners to put this where it needs to be. Something like that. And I'm just going to come in with a darker green than I used before, and I'll do the whole thing. Some of these are kind of blue-green. I'm just going to go with this one. Just trying to really get into those little tips of the cattails there. Trying to go a little darker at the very base here. Okay, let's check that out. That's so cute. And I was going to do one more thing just to kind of, I don't know, finish it off. I mean, it's very nice. I like that. Very clean and pristine looking. But I was going to grab just like a very, very, very light blue and just add a little more color down here. And this is like a super light blue, so I need to find an area of this thing that's clean that's not going to reactivate. So I'm just putting the lightest little bit of color in here. Oh, and that's a little darker. And then I'm going to go ahead and run this through the, that's it. That dye that I had chosen at the beginning. Something like that. That'll be cute. Okay. Although it looked really nice with the whole background there. But I'm going to run that through and clean up and I'll be right back. Okay. Super cute. And I wasn't sure if I was going to put another background piece or not, but I think I am. So I'm going to cut just, well, the other die that comes along with this, the larger one, is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I want it a matte layer, like a little smaller. So I'm just going to cut a piece of like green cardstock, bring some more green in here. Or maybe I should do pink. Either one. 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Just cutting it down on my paper trimmer, and I'll be right back. Okay, so we're just going to stick these guys down. One and then the other, and then we'll make a little frog, I think, to add on here with a little sentiment. Okay, I just had to show you how cute this came out. I love that, with that little pop of pink in the background. Okay, let me grab some scraps for our little froggy guy. I don't know that I'm going to put a crown on him today. We'll see. Okay, guys, so our little guy, his little body, his face, all that stuff I'm going to cut out of this shiny green. It's kind of a lighter green, right? And whenever you run that many pieces through at once, you just want to tape them down so they don't move into each other as you're die cutting. Little accent belly. I'm going to go with this kind of beigey, champagne-y kind of color. But, you know, if you want to use different green, whatever it is you want to do. I don't know why I'm just ripping these without scissors. There you go. And then we have this guy. So this one has the black for the eyes and the white for the eyes. So white and black. So I'm going to run it through some white paper, and I'll run it also through some black paper, okay? And I'll be right back. Okay, I will say, you know, you have your inspo, I was going to say sentiment. You can see that they went with a darker green in the belly. I went with like a creamy colored belly, whatever's you like. Obviously I'm going to keep all these other pieces, try not to lose anything here with the eyes. Maybe we should stick those down first, huh? Get that little hand out. There he goes. All right. It's over here. Let's stick the eyeballs down so we don't misplace those pieces. So I'm going to get in a little bit here. And he is just the cutest little frog. Oh my goodness. When I saw the little bundle, I thought that was cute because honestly, it's a small collection and you got everything in the bundle there. So I don't think, oh no, they are. Okay. I was going to say, I'm not sure if these white circles look different. I mean, they look like they might be. I feel like this larger one goes here. And this one's slightly smaller. Goes there. I don't know. The little area in there looks like it would be different, but they're very similar. So then I'm going to take a little glue. Again, I just pop it on here because it's easier than trying to get it on that small pupil area. And these little guys do have little cutouts. So however you want him looking, put it like this. That little cutout can face to the right. But do them both the same, clearly. Aw, that's sweet. And then you have your little body and your arms, you know, depending on where you want the little arms to be. You just kind of pop those in there, all right? But let's get his little tummy. And there are areas here that you can see where the tummy goes. Oh, you see that? And then where his head goes. So let's get that going. Then we get his little tummy. Miranda's gonna love this. Anything super cute, of course, she loves. Okay, so as far as this little guy, I'm just gonna put a little glue here. Leave it kind of free floating. And I'm just putting them down. He's gonna look like he's sitting on this thing, so if there's a way to plan that, like to make it look more natural, then you can definitely plan for that. You know, if we have him here. Oopsie. Aww. And you want his little arms to be a certain way, then, you know, go for it. And that looks really cute. And maybe a little more out this one, like this. Okay, and then his little head. Just a little glue down here. Now I did make him very light green, so he does kind of blend into his little lily pad there. But that's alright. Move that one out just a little bit. And then as far as the sentiment, I'll probably pop him up on dimensionals. I was going to stamp the sentiment and then cut it out, but now I'm thinking I'm just going to let it just stamp in the background. Again, you know, if you're using that cool background piece, you can have it kind of follow the curve or curve over on top of the little mushroom or whatever it is. But maybe hopping by to say hello. And since I'm just going to go for it and my card is pretty much ready to go, I don't want to mess that up. So I'm going to use a stamp positioner. Maybe I should just open this up. Put a ton of magnets because why not? Okay, hopping by to say hello, and I'm gonna stamp that right up here. And let's make sure that's nice and straight, like that's where I would want it, sure, but I'm also going to make sure it's straight here. Use my grid lines to help me figure that part out. Okay, that looks pretty good. And it is a photopolymer stamp set, so it does have a little stickiness to it. I'm just going to kind of rub and do that kind of thing to help get rid of some of that. And I'm going to pop that down, let it soak in. Hopping by to say hello. He is so cute. So I'm going to put some dimensionals behind our little guy, and our card will be done, unless you want to also put some sequins. I was thinking about it. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, so I just put some dimensionals on the top portion of his little head and body, and then I'm going to glue down this part so it looks like a little bit of different dimension. Just instead of him sitting right on top, it looks a little more, I don't know, just a little different. Oh, so cute. I was debating where I should put him, like right here. Hold his little legs down, push that part down. And then I have these guys from the advent calendar, and I was looking at the teal ones. That'd be cute. The pink ones would be cute. The yellow would be cute, right? Can add all these different things in. That's tough. I want to say pink. Of course I want to do pink. Okay. And it can be a mix of like the pinks and the teal colors. I think that's also cute. Maybe we can do that. They do have some different sizes in here, so I want one large one, then a couple of the small ones. That's what I always kind of go for. So yeah, let's do that. Maybe a couple of these guys in the bigger sizes. Just like in there, a little something here and here. And same thing here. I don't know, whenever I use them like groups of 3 and I like them to be like here and there. And And these guys, I always kind of put them cupped. So the cup is facing up. Cute. I hardly ever mix the colors, so this is something different for me, guys. I really kind of stick to what I do normally, the same thing. But that's cute. All right. And there we are. He is so cute, jumping for joy, just adorable. I mean, this is, I had to start with this guy. He is too adorable. So thanks for watching, guys. Again, I'll have linked there all the new collections, you know, to that page. And then specifically to this collection. And then also the die that I used to cut the matte layer there. Thanks for watching. I'll have the images coming up for you. And I will see you all at the next one. Bye now.